Chris Cole, a well-known actor best known for the Icarus Rush franchise, opens the film with paparazzi constantly pursuing him. Zara, Chris's assistant, has to get to Chris fast because they are caught in traffic. Chris messages Zara, requesting that she come to the restaurant. Ashley believes he is going to pop the question when he tells her how much she means to him. Chris receives a red package from Zara when she gets to the restaurant. Chris tells Ashley he needs to concentrate on his new film while displaying a set of diamond earrings. He informs Ashley that they must call it quits on their romance later. Chris worries about the screenplay for the movie. Zara advises having it rewritten by someone. Chris concurs and promises to look for a different writer. Zara is told to arrive at his residence at 8:30 by him. That evening, the following day, Zara speaks with her mother, Brooke. Zara is uncertain about her future and feels adrift. Zara is intelligent and clever, and her hard work will eventually pay off, Brooke reassures her. Zara should remind Chris of his pledge to train her to handle his business later, Brooke tells her. Zara receives a call from Chris asking her to conduct an errand for him. Zara goes grocery shopping in an attempt to find what Chris asked for. Chris acknowledges that it has been a very long time since he was inside a grocery shop. He gives her a deep smile as Zara talks about the aisles and merchandise surrounding her. Then he begs Zara to get him something interesting and enjoyable. Zara goes to see her friend Stella the following day and requests that she revise the script for Chris's film. Zara keeps insisting she needs help, but Stella refuses, claiming she is a playwright. When Zara gets back to Chris's house, she opens the gate with the code. When it doesn't open, she contacts Chris because she's confused. Chris is upset that she was late and even disregarded his call, so he won't let her in. Zara talks about meeting her writer buddy, but Chris doesn't seem to care. He threatens to dismiss her if Zara doesn't give in to his requests for an apology letter. Zara can no longer act coolly. After hurling Chris's belongings inside the property, the automobile begins to climb the barrier. When she confesses that she climbed the gate, she finds him working out without paying attention. She's desperate, according to Chris. Zora eventually informs him that she is leaving. Startled, Chris chases after her to prevent her from going. It will be difficult, he says, to find someone reliable for the weekend. Zara explains she can't stay with her replacement, but she will train him. She brings up Chris's pledge to teach her how to manage his business one day. She thought that after 2 years, she would become an associate producer and eventually a producer, but she is still merely his assistant. Zara says that because all she does is pick up his dry washing, she has no production experience. Chris believes she has no understanding of the business. Zara becomes irritated because she thinks she ought to be in charge of his business and because she cares for him. Zara's departure will add to Chris's already mounting worry about his next film. He claims that because of his lavish lifestyle, he has received the movie money and is unable to repay it. Knowing that Chris will never give her a promotion, Zara shakes her head. Chris is incensed to discover his shirt jumbled up with soiled sneakers when he opens the plastic bag that held his possessions. Feeling enraged and frustrated, he approaches Zara and fires her. Zara makes a vow to never come back as she exits the house. Zara brings her friend Ye home with her, as she needs to get dressed up for a meeting with her boyfriend's parents. Zara asks Ye not to inform her mother that she resigned. She chooses to keep it a secret for the time being because she doesn't want to acknowledge that her mother was correct. Zara eventually admits she resigned her job that evening. She feels as like her mother is picking on her, even though she wants to comfort her. Zara seems to have a tendency to walk away from situations, but Brooke encourages her not to take it personally because she only wants what's best for her kid. The following day, Chris visits Zara's home to ask her to return to work for him. When no one opens the door for him, he allows himself in. The only person home is Brooke, and when she sees him, she even thinks he is an intruder. Despite her shyness, Chris finds Zara's mother's youthful appearance astounding. Zara is out running errands and won't be returning for a few hours, Brooke manages to clarify. Chris decides it's best to hold out for her, and Brooke grants him permission to stay. When Brooke gets back, she changes into a dress to look more put together. Chris acknowledges that the only reason he's making the film is because it's a part of the Icarus Rush movie franchise, despite the fact that the script is awful. Although Brooke acknowledges she hasn't watched any of the Icarus Rush films, she gives Chris a copy of the Icarus myth from within the workplace. Chris looks at the trophies that are displayed. Given that Zara never brought up Brooke's writing career, he is impressed when she mentions it. They share a bottle of tequila and he asks Brooke for guidance. They keep talking about Charlie, Brooke's late husband, who departed from this life 11 years ago. Chris listens, but he can't stop complimenting Brooke on her beauty. They are getting closer as they continue to touch. He gives Brooke's hand a kiss and remarks that he finds her easy to converse to. Chris approaches her and gives her a kiss at last. When Zara arrives into the driveway, Brooke initially backs off before engaging in a passionate makeout session. Chris and Brooke are already having sex in the bedroom. When she discovers her mother in control of a rodeo in the bedroom, she nearly loses it. Zara nearly chokes on her astonishment. She yells at the scene in front of her and, as she is leaving, runs into the wall. They decide to take her to the clinic after she strikes her head so hard. Later, in an attempt to win Zara back over to his way of thinking, Chris offers her the job of associate producer. Zara promises to return to her job, but she feels that what transpired with her mother and him should never occur again. At last, Zara begins her career as an assistant producer. She asks Chris to review the script and mentions the new writer. Chris sends Brooke a message asking her to dinner. When she declines, Chris nevertheless makes a reservation for the two of them. Grinning, Brooke begins to choose what to dress. She is shocked to discover that he has taken over the entire posh restaurant when she gets there. Chris acknowledges that he used to work there and expresses gratitude that Brooke arrived. Chris talks about his difficult upbringing and how his mother passed away when he was a small child. Adding that his brother passed away as well, he moved to Louisiana. Chris states that he still wants to be friends with Brooke because they both realized that what had happened to them could never happen again after that. Later, he shows her about New York Street and takes her there. Brooke claims that her concern for Chris is unrelated to his celebrity. Then, to demonstrate that he has read some of Brooke's writing, Chris quotes a few sentences from one of her works. He eventually approaches her and initiates contact before they resume kissing. Brooke admits to Zara that she had supper with Chris that evening when she gets home. Zara wants to assume that there's more to Chris, but she worries that her mother spent more time with him than just having dinner. Not long later, Brooke sneaks away from Zara to spend a romantic weekend with Chris. Zara assumes it's her buddy Stella when Chris talks about getting a new writer for the script. But when she returns the borrowed outfit to Zara, who returns it to her mother's bedroom, Chris reveals he's found a different writer. She is shocked to discover her mother's Icarus script on the bedside table, and is even more shocked to see garments strewn all over the bed. When she learns that her mother is Chris's guest at the gala, she discovers that her mother has been working on it for some time. Zara brings Jae along to the function. The staff informs her that they are not on the list when she tries to get in by introducing Jae as Chris's nutritionist. Fortunately, Zara spots Chris's PR, who grants them access. When she notices them making out, her heart breaks. Zara approaches her mother and asserts that she is not the only one who believes there is more to Chris and her relationship. According to Brooke, she hasn't felt that passionately since her spouse Zara blows up in. She claims it's already challenging to be the daughter of an award-winning writer, expressing anger at what she hears. She's disappointed that Chris chose Brooke instead of the writer she recommended. Zara threatens to move out if Brooke and Chris don't break up. According to Brooke, Zara had no business moving in the first place. It's too late that night, even though she knows her daughter was affected by what she said. Zara stays at Jean's house to sleep. Christmas must be spent with Brooke's mother-in-law, Ilila. The news that Chris won't be spending the holidays with Brooke breaks his heart. He tells her he loves her, then quickly realizes his mistake. With a smile, Brooke hangs up the phone at Lila's residence. Because of Zara, Brooke acknowledges that she did not invite Chris. If she wants to invite Chris, Lila says she should. Zara complains about Chris and why she doesn't like him for her mother when she gets to her grandmother's house. But Lila tells Zara that it's Christmas and she should behave herself. During dinner, she claims that it was her idea for Chris to spend Christmas with them. Chris acknowledges that he has never had a holiday residence. He claims he would be terribly depressed without them. Subsequently, Brooke acknowledges to Lila that she and her husband Charlie didn't always have an ideal relationship. Despite Charlie's chilly attitude toward her, she acknowledges that he had already considered getting a divorce. According to Brooks, she cared for and loved him up until his passing. After that, Leah approves of Chris and Brooks' relationship. With a frightened expression on her face, Zara is hiding in the corridor and listening to the talk. Chris presents Lila and Zara with his Christmas gifts. Then, to everyone's amazement, he presents Brooke with a book that includes her essays and short stories. After Christmas, she gives him a kiss as a thank you. They begin loading their automobiles with belongings. Zara sees a recognizable red box poking out of Chris's luggage as she is doing this. When she opens it and lifts it up, she discovers a pair of diamond earrings inside. Before the two return, she swiftly returns the bag. Zara leaves everything behind and goes to get Chris's bag as soon as she gets at Brooke's place. As Zara enters the kitchen, Brooke and Chris are giggling and she begs Chris to leave. She begins listing all of the absurd requests that Chris has previously made. She claims that Chris isn't always kind to her and that if she did something wrong, he would even force her to write an apologetic letter. As Brooke turns to face Chris and continues to listen to her daughter, Zara discloses that Chris has been giving his former partner the same diamond earrings for years. She proves her point by showing her mother the red box and claiming he already got her a pair when he breaks up with her. Brooke finds the discovery shocking. Chris says that he was searching for a Christmas present and considered giving Brooke the diamond earrings, but ultimately changed his mind. Zara gets AB back when she inquires as to whether Chris brought Brooke to New York Street. Chris is asked to leave the residence by her. Zara is then asked by Brooke if she truly knows Chris. At least, Zara says she does. Brooke, who appears to be rather disappointed with her daughter, expresses her wish that Zara hadn't had to act in such a devastated manner following her altercation with her mother. Zara spends the night at Jeannie's place. Even though Jeannie is clearly unhappy, Zara keeps talking about what happened. As Zara searches for Jeannie's guy, she requests to spend the night. Jai claims that although she was resolving her personal issues, she was unable to inform Zara about the breakup with her partner. While Jai is annoyed that Zara makes everything about herself, Zara is irritated that Jai believes she can't depend on her. Zara spends the night with Mila, Chris's cleaner. On the other hand, Zara and Jai reconcile in time for New Year's Eve. A few days later, Chris tells Zara that he considered breaking up with Brooke, but he believes she is someone else. Although he acknowledges that he has never fallen in love in New York, he did fall in love with Brooke. Zara goes on to say that her mother is busy since she is relocating to Princeton to become a teacher. Zara later apologizes to her mother, stating that she was upset about her father's death and took it out on her. Zara goes on to add that her mother deserves all the love in the world, but Brooke insists that they are no longer together and won't discuss it. Chris is shocked to find himself ignored when Zara brings him to a grocery store. When Brooke and Lila arrive a short while later, they spot Chris and Zara. It dawns on Brooke that Lila asked to be taken to the grocery shop. Zara says she's sorry for all she did and that she thinks Chris and her mother should have a true opportunity at a relationship. After telling Brooke that he wants her in his life and that he no longer wants to be alone, Chris and Brooke share a kiss. A year later, Zara is now a producer, and Brooke and Chris are still together.